You see it all the time, someone who is just undeniably brilliant. They have this raw, undeniable talent. And yet,
They're completely stuck.
yes, they're spinning their wheels, going absolutely nowhere, and appearing entirely mediocre to the rest of the world. It's incredibly frustrating to watch. It really makes you wonder what on earth they are missing.
It really does.
Welcome to today's deep dive. Our mission today is to explore this really thought-provoking, kind of provocative essay titled Life Needs a Track by Zhu Feng, which was edited by Kuyur. We are looking at this concept that argues failure to launch almost never comes down to a lack of intelligence.
Right, or lack of gifts. It's simply because these talented people haven't found the right track or, the right runway for their lives.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because it's like having a top-of-the-line smartphone. You've got the absolute latest model, incredible processing speed, perfect camera.
But you're in a total dead zone.
Exactly. You have no Wi-Fi, no cellular service. All of that immense computing power in your hand means absolutely nothing without a network to connect it to.
What's fascinating here is how the author completely reframes the idea of human potential. Because we spend so much time analyzing the individual, don't we?
Oh, constantly. We dissect morning routines, willpower, all of that.
Exactly. But this text suggests we're looking in the wrong place. The source operates on the fundamental belief that everyone, and the text is explicit about this, everyone has unlimited potential.
Wait, everyone?
Everyone. The reason that potential isn't realized isn't a lack of capability. It's because potential without positioning is just invisible. Like your smartphone analogy, the capability is there, but it's locked away without the network.
Right, and the author uses some incredibly vivid analogies to drive this point home, like the aircraft example.
That's a great one.
Yeah, you can have the most excellently engineered aircraft in the world, massive engines, perfectly aerodynamic, but if you park it in a grassy field with no runway, it will never, ever fly.
It's literally just, as the text says, a pile of scrap metal.
A pile of scrap metal. And then they apply this to human performance, talking about athletics. Imagine a gifted sprinter or a long-distance runner. If you never give them a racetrack, their talents are just buried.
They take those physical gifts to the grave.
Yeah, never knowing if they were a mediocre horse or a swift horse.
And that mediocre horse versus swift horse concept is really the anchor of the essay. The tragic part is that you don't even know your own worth until the environment tests you. You can't know you're a swift horse if you're trapped in a small pen.
But I have to push back on this a little bit. This absolute dependency on the external environment feels completely backward to what we hear today.
How so?
Well, if we are all these high-powered airplanes, modern self-help culture basically tells us to just keep upgrading our engines, right? Read more books, optimize your diet, learn a new skill. Nobody is telling us to stop upgrading the engine and go look for a runway.
Yeah, and that is exactly where the author believes modern self-help gets it dangerously wrong. We are obsessed with the engine. But an upgraded engine sitting in a garage still travels at 0 miles an hour. The author's point is that knowledge and skill are only valuable when applied within the correct context.
So the context is everything.
Exactly. The text uses the phrase, give full play to our talents. You can't give full play to your abilities in isolation. A track provides the friction, the direction, and the market for those skills to actually manifest. Without the track, self-optimization is just a vanity project.
If that's the case, let's look at the historical evidence the author brings up. Because the text goes on this sweeping tour through history and culture to prove that the track makes the icon.
It's a very comprehensive view across almost every domain of human achievement.
The military examples are really striking. The author points to Generals Eisenhower and Patton. The text asks, honestly, pretty blunt question. If there had been no track of war, who would even know their names?
Probably no one. Their tactical genius required the horrific but very real track of the battlefield to become visible.
And from there, it pivots to media. It brings up massive cultural icons in Chinese broadcasting, like television hosts, Zhu Jun, Yang Lan, and Ni Ping.
Right, they became the focus of hundreds of millions of people because they secured a spot on the television track.
Which was a massive funnel for national attention at the time. Same with martial arts stars like Jet Li and Andy Lau. Their worldwide fame depended entirely on the movie industry track.
And it applies to economics and spirituality, too. The text points to the millionaires and billionaires who emerged during China's period of reform and opening up. The emergence of that business track made their wealth possible.
And on the flip side, the eminent monks.
Exactly. They demonstrate superior wisdom because they follow the established track of Buddhism, which provides the framework for that wisdom to be recognized.
Now, I want to add a quick note here for you listening. We need to maintain strict impartiality, so we are just objectively reporting the source's historical examples right now. We aren't endorsing any political ideology.
Right, we're just looking at how the text frames history.
Yes. And looking at political movements, the author observes the rise of the Communist Party of China. The text notes that commoners became powerful generals and politicians because they utilized the massive track of the communist movement.
Without that historical current, their talents would have just been, quote, drowned in life's ocean.
Here's where it gets really interesting. I'm looking at all these examples, Eisenhower, Jet Li, the political figures, and I'm struggling with the causality.
What do you mean?
Does a track actually create these skills in a person, or does it just act like a magnifying glass for skills that were already there? Did the battlefield make Patton a genius, or was he already a genius and the war just revealed it?
Well, it's a dynamic combination, but it leans heavily toward the track demanding the skill. Tracks don't just passively magnify, they pull the potential out of the individual.
We'll see.
Think about Patton's temperament. Aggressive, unyielding. In peacetime, working a desk job, he might have just been a toxic person. He might have been fired.
Right, that makes total sense.
But the track of a global world war demanded that exact aggressive temperament and transformed it into tactical brilliance. The track provides the shape, and the potential pours into it.
The environment dictates if a trait is a flaw or a superpower. So, if historical tracks were tied to battlefields or national movements, where do we find these tracks today?
The text actually transitions right into the modern era for this.
Yeah, it identifies the internet as the ultimate contemporary track, this boundless space where authors and practitioners can shine via blogs and social connections. But it doesn't just observe this, it issues a mandate.
Right, it asserts you must choose a track suited to your personality if you want to play the game of life better.
The game of life, it's very active. The source actually warns against pretending to be aloof or acting like you're too good to engage. It calls that an excuse for incompetence.
It drops a pretty intense quote there, too.
Oh yeah, a soldier who does not want to be a general is never a good soldier.
It's a powerful call to ambition, but it's very pragmatic.
Highly pragmatic. Because it gives this humbling advice about managing your ego. It's as if you lack the superintelligence or indomitable willpower to build your own track, you should just borrow one.
Don't just sit there doing nothing.
Exactly. It says instead of painstakingly making an empty personal website with 0 visitors, go promote your ideas on someone else's active website or bulletin board.
Think about how applicable that is right now. It's the difference between coding a pristine website nobody visits versus posting your work on LinkedIn or YouTube where the crowd already is.
It's like insisting on opening your own completely empty comedy club instead of just going down the street and performing at an established open mic night.
Yes, exactly.
But let me push back again. Isn't there a huge risk in building your house on someone else's land? What if the owner of that website or the algorithm just kicks you off?
This raises an important question about the balance between visibility and ownership. Yes, there's inherent risk. You are at the mercy of the track owner.
Yeah.
But the author is setting up a hierarchy of failure here. In this philosophy, relying on borrowed infrastructure is still vastly superior to total obscurity.
Because obscurity is the worst fate.
Exactly. An independently hosted track that 0 people visit is the ultimate failure. Your potential remains invisible. Borrowing a track at least gives you a chance to fly, even if you don't own the asphalt.
Obscurity is the ultimate enemy.
Yeah.
I love that. But the text actually goes deeper than just career choices or where to post online. It says tracks are actions that unconsciously shape our destiny.
Right. Daily habits become tracks.
Yeah. It says polishing shoes puts you on a shoe polishing track. Stealing puts you on a crime track. And it says reaping without sowing slowly places you on a greedy, parasitic track.
Human psychology adapts to whatever it repeatedly does. The actions carve a groove into your life, and eventually that groove dictates where you go without you even realizing it.
Now, once again, just to explicitly state for the listener, we are objectively reporting the source's political and social examples here. We aren't endorsing them.
Yes, keeping it strictly to the text.
So, the author applies this unconscious shaping to specific choices. It states that choosing a mass political movement naturally leads to the track of confronting the government. And conversely, choosing Lifechanyuan,
which is the philosophical community associated with the author.
Right. Choosing that leads you to the track of climbing to the highest realm of life.
It's pure causality. You think you're making a single choice, but you're actually stepping onto a conveyor belt.
But here is the terrifying part. The text introduces the visual deception of paths. It says some tracks look narrow and bumpy at first, but get broader and brighter the further you walk.
And then there's the opposite.
Right. Some tracks look broad, densely populated, and easy, but they lead to hurt feet, confusion, and eventually total darkness.
It's the illusion of the crowd. A bad track looks inviting because it has no barriers to entry, no
Yeah.
friction, so everyone flocks to it.
But because everyone is there,
Yeah, exactly. It becomes hyper-competitive, the value drops to zero, and it becomes a dark, dead end. A good track looks bumpy because the early hard work scares off the herd, which protects its long-term value.
so what does this all mean for you listening? If both paths look deceiving, how on earth are you supposed to know if you're on a bumpy road to success or a wide highway to darkness?
Well, the author explicitly demands critical thinking here. You must sharpen your eyes to think and judge.
No magic compass, then.
No magic compass. You can't rely on the crowd as your navigation system. You have to actively evaluate your trajectory and seek out multiple perspectives before you hit a dead end.
Which brings us to the final and most intense part of the essay, the calculus of committing versus quitting.
The stakes get very high here.
They really do. The goal is to find a track you can follow for a lifetime. But if a track has no future, if it's a dead end with steep precipices, you must abandon it immediately or you will grieve the missed opportunity for a lifetime.
Because time is the one resource you can't get back.
And the author gives a harsh reality check. Quote, "No one will sympathize with you if you fail. At most, they will express regrets and pity."
Society just keeps moving.
Yeah. So once you are on a good track, never give up. The author shares this proverb: 1,000 sails pass by the shipwreck, and 10,000 saplings thrive beyond the withered tree.
The world does not pause to mourn unrealized potential.
It's chilling. And again, maintaining strict impartiality here regarding the historical examples, the text provides a final contrast. It states that Zhang Guotao abandoned his track and unknowingly froze to death.
While Deng Xiaoping stuck to his track through immense difficulties and had his wishes fulfilled.
Exactly. I have to say, this feels incredibly ruthless. The text essentially says society doesn't care about your effort if you're on the wrong runway. Is it really that black and white?
It's a stark worldview, definitely. But there's an empowering flip side. The author concludes, as long as the route is right, you can stride ahead.
Meaning what, exactly?
Meaning, if you do the hard work of finding the right track, a lot of life's friction disappears. You don't have to be a superhuman genius. You just have to commit and let the track's momentum carry your effort forward. It shifts the burden from needing to be perfect to just needing to be positioned correctly.
Positioning over perfection. I absolutely love that. So to summarize all of this for you listening, your potential is limitless. You are a swift horse, but you need the right runway.
Check your ego. Don't be afraid to borrow a track if you have to.
Yes, and constantly evaluate if your path is getting brighter or darker. And through it all, keep in mind the source's humbling reminder. The earth will rotate the same, with or without you.
It really will.
Before we go, I want to leave you with a provocative thought that builds on this. If we accept that tracks completely define our trajectory, what happens when the very nature of tracks is changing overnight?
Oh, that's a great question.
Right. With AI and rapid technological shifts building entirely new runways and bulldozing old ones every single day, how do you ensure you aren't sprinting down a track that simply won't exist in 5 years?
The skill isn't just running fast anymore. It's being willing to jump tracks faster than ever.
Exactly. You have to constantly scan the horizon.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into Life Needs a Track. Keep questioning your path, and we will see you next time.